So, I'm making this video to tell people how I killed, well, most, like 98% of the Morgellons chronic sinus infection that tortured me for many years. And it's a process. Don't expect it to happen in one day. And don't expect it to be easy. Because this is a process where you might literally have to torture yourself worse to get better. Like, give yourself more symptoms temporarily to get better in the long run. And it's a lot of avoiding too. Most of it is avoiding things. Okay, the first thing that I have to say is, I guess I should put a disclaimer in saying I'm not a doctor. I'm just some crazy nutcase that knows how to kill the Morgellons sinus infection pretty good. So, don't listen to me unless you're a nutcase too. So the first thing, the most important thing, and this is really important, personal care products that are perfumed or toxic, if it's toxic and you can smell it, don't eat it. Don't put it on your body. Don't breathe it in, because it's poisoning you and it's slowing down your lymphatic system. It's going up your nose. If you could smell it, you're breathing it in, and it's messing up your nose, causing inflammation. And if you eat it and it's poison, it's going to clog up your lymphatic system in your liver, and it's going to mess you up. That's just how it is. So if you can smell it and it's poison, like perfume, laundry detergent, soap, all kinds of things are poison. There's types of soaps that don't have added poison, like Dr. Bronner's Baby Mild or whatever. But it's really important to avoid toxic chemicals if you have sinus problems. The other thing, stop eating. Oh, that's back. Stupid camera. Really? Okay. Stop eating crappy, toxic, store-bought ice cream. Have you seen the ingredients on that stuff? At least in America, that stuff's poison. It's got 50 things in it, and 98% of them are poison. Or 100%. Even if it isn't poison. Ice cream. Large amounts of dairy and sugar will mess up your body and give you really bad inflammation, especially in your sinuses, and they'll clog up your lymphatic system. You can make coconut ice cream at home with young coconuts, as long as they're not purple or pink on the inside. Then you have to throw them away because they're bad. They might be kind of hard to find, and they're always dipped in metabisulfite, so you have to be careful cracking them open. But you can make your own ice cream with no dairy, and it's the best soft serve ice cream in the world. It's just coconuts, and you have to have a juicer or blender. Anyways, the point is, you have to give that shit up, straight up. You can't eat a bunch of ice cream and then cry because you have a stuffy nose in the morning, because you're doing it to yourself if that's the case, most likely. So avoid sugar and dairy, both. And that'll help with all kinds of things. Now, herbs that help with circulation that I've used, ginger root, like fresh ginger root. I don't like the taste of it, but I'll stuff it in with vegetable juice if I want my circulation better. The other one is cayenne peppers or hot peppers. And the thing about hot peppers, and probably horseradish too, is if you're having sneezing fits, where you're sneezing all day or 2 days in a row, where you just sneeze like 1,000 times a day, because I have had that happen so many times I can't even begin to tell you how bad it is. If you haven't been through it. If you've been through it, you know how bad it is. You just sneeze all day and your nose is all runny and you get all raw and it's just terrible. If you put a hot pepper in your mouth, as long as that hot pepper's in your mouth, you won't sneeze. You could take a break for 5 minutes. That's a little trick that's good. And also, you can clear your nose that way for 5 minutes if you're congested. So it's always good to have hot peppers around, and ginger root to help with your circulation. And the other thing, get an neti pot. I don't use a neti pot anymore. I used a neti pot every day for years, and the only reason I don't use one anymore is because of my living situation, where there's a lot of things I don't do that I'd rather do that I just don't have time for. It's just too much hassle to deal with. And and once you've got it under control, you don't need to do that anymore. But I used a neti pot for years, and I know when you're really congested, you can't get it to pour through sometimes at all. Keep trying. Don't just sit there for hours and keep trying, but try every day. Get a neti pot, learn how to use it, and just try to get it. Because we have our sinuses go all the way into our head, they go all the way up into our cheeks, and they connect to our teeth too. Our teeth affect our sinuses. I'll get into that too. Now you can put things in your neti pot. You can put colloidal silver in your neti pot. That will chase out some of the infection. It's not going to drive it all out though. I'm not talking about that till last, the ways to drive it out. Because you have to do these other things first. Otherwise it might just congest more and more and more and more and more. And then it's just more suffering. You have to be able to get it out. It's like doing a colon cleanse before liver cleanse, because you don't want to damage yourself getting constipated or something when you're trying to cleanse your liver. It's the same with your nose. You need to make sure that you've removed the toxic things that are causing it and got your lymphatic system going, you've got your nose stuff moving before you try to add more stuff to your body to push the stuff out. So I know some good stuff for that, and I'll talk about that last. But when you're using the neti pot, you can use colloidal silver, and the really super secret ingredient is something that I would never eat, most likely, unless I was like dying from some kind of stomach infection. The other thing that you could add to your neti pot is xylitol. And xylitol is also available in a nasal spray, and it kills the Morgellons sinus infection, at least on the surface. But I stress, it is something you have to drive out also. Now, the other thing is inflammation. Any inflammation, not just in your nose, but in all cases of inflammation, the things that I've found the best for inflammation is mostly things to avoid and do. Avoid fried foods, especially things that are fried in rancid oils, or things that aren't really food, like rapeseed oil or vegetable oil. The oils you want to use are coconut oil or ghee, which is purified butter, or even just organic butter, but in limited quantities because it's dairy. I use coconut oil for most things, because that for me is the best. It drives out yeast overgrowth also. And if you start eating coconut oil and you have yeast overgrowth, you'll smell it coming out of you for a while, out of your armpits. And after a while, it'll go away because you get it out. But make sure you don't eat rancid oils and don't eat fried foods. Avoid sugar as much as possible. I put a little sugar in my cup of coffee every morning, and that's it. I really don't eat any more than that. And if I do, I notice I'll get asthma, or I'll get sinus problems, I'll get worse inflammation. Avoid preservatives in food. Eat organic if you can. Not if you can, you should, as much as you can, to avoid the pesticides. Avoid all the food additives that are not food. If you don't know what it is, look it up. It's probably poison. It's probably petroleum based or something. Even vitamins, they make them out of petroleum. Don't rub Vaseline all over yourself. It's poison. Use avocado oil or something instead. Coconut oil, something else. There's options. Every time you replace a product, every time you run out of a product that you normally use, buy something that's non-toxic you've never tried before. If it's not as good, so try a different one the next time. I know I'm just being bitchy, but it's taken me so many years and so much learning. This is gold what I'm giving people right now. Don't shit on it. Listen to me. I know what I'm talking about. I do. Avoid putting things on your skin that you wouldn't eat. Because if you put it on your skin, it goes into your body and it poisons you. And it'll screw up your lymphatic system and your nose. Okay. The next thing is avoiding the toxic chemtrails and air pollution. Air cleaners. Almost nobody uses them. I know that it's expensive to get started, but even just a little $150 or $200 air cleaner, which I know is a lot of money for some people, but even just that will make a huge difference. If it's just a little HEPA filter, it'll make a huge difference. If you can afford chemical absorbing air cleaners, you're going to have a huge amount of protection. Massive. Life-changing. Not just for asthma and allergy sufferers or sinus problems, but just life-changing in every way for your health. Dehumidifiers in a humid environment will help your air cleaners work better and will also remove a lot of the nanoparticles that the air cleaners can't get because it's actually in the water. When we look up at those nasty clouds, dehumidifiers, they're pretty cheap compared to big old air cleaners, and they really make a huge difference if you're in a humid environment like I am. Now I'm going to build an overpressure unit into my tiny house, under my tiny house loft, so that I have air cleaners in there that pump out into here, which will actually probably protect me better than anything could. But I have a lot of work to do to get to that point, so I'm making a biological and chemical weapon safe room. Because we're being sprayed with biological and chemical weapons. I need a safe room. We all do. The other thing is reverse osmosis filter your water. Some people use distillation. That's probably just as good. I use reverse osmosis. That works for me. And add lemon juice to your water. So that, because what happens, now if your gallbladder isn't working right, this won't work. It will actually make you sick. But if you have a functioning gallbladder, adding lemon juice to your water, what it does is the acidity of the lemon juice will stimulate your gallbladder to produce bile, which will make you alkaline. And that will help with inflammation and detox and health in general. And that'll help your nose. The next thing is heavy metal detox. When you have mercury amalgam dental fillings in your mouth or root canal teeth, they will poison you. They will poison you with mercury and all kinds of other metals and crap, tin, I don't know. Just depends on whether it's Chinese or not. I don't know. You know, there's different, they all have mercury in them. If they're silver, they have mercury in them. And root canals, my missing teeth, I have some missing teeth, and I love my missing teeth because they're a symbol of my better health. I wouldn't trade those missing teeth for any fake teeth ever. Maybe if I couldn't chew at all, but as long as I can still eat, I love my missing teeth because the dentist that pulled these teeth was like pulling demons out of my head. He was like a magician over there, just pulling the demons out. It was awesome. And the root canal tooth, getting that out, was the best thing I ever did. Because those things will actually cause sinus infections. If they're up here, they'll leach in your sinuses. You end up with all this infection because they never kill all the infection. It's impossible. Research it, it's true. Root canals are extremely bad. They're just bad. I love my missing teeth. Okay? And that is the prerequisite to metal detox. If you try to detox with metal chelation agents, and you still have mercury amalgam dental fillings, you will get sick as hell. Because it'll just stir everything up in you, and it'll go into your bloodstream, and it'll just poison you, and you'll be so sick, you won't know what the hell's going on. You'll go crazy. So it's a prerequisite to serious chelation to get the dental fillings out first. Now, before you get the dental fillings out, the only thing that I know of that's safe is algin, which is sodium alginate. It's the part of seaweed that binds to metals without the rest of the seaweed in it. And it'll help with the nausea and all kinds of stuff caused by getting poisoned. It works as a poisoning antidote to some of their poisons. There's other poisoning antidotes too. I don't have room for that here, but okay. Now there's a part 2.